Tish James, the AG from New York, who is obsessed with Trump, has now got a little of financial scrutiny herself. And this is a great report from Village Crazy Lady. And this explains that Tishy had some ghost donos, some donors who may have been sending her money from untraceable sources. And so we're going to go through this thread and hear more about some reaction about what's happening in New York with Tish James, the AG. Here is the thread from Village Crazy Lady over on the X platform. She goes by the name Mel. Here's the story. It says, you know, when I got asked to look into Letitia last week, I wasn't expecting to find much. And as you probably know, James is the Attorney General against Trump, who's got a $450 million order against him. So some background. Tish, she was elected as the New York AG in 2018, re-elected in 2022. Now, prior to that, she was a public advocate for 4 years, whatever that is, and a New York City Council member for 8 years before that. Prior to that, she was a public defender for legal aid. So in other words, she's a lifelong public servant, so-called, and other than a mishap in 2010, where she neglected to list the Brooklyn brownstone property that she owns and rents out, she hasn't had any public scandals. So is Tish gonna have a special prosecutor that she's indicting like Fannie? Probably not. But with that said, Mel did find something, and this has now gotten 1.2 million views, right? This thread is fire. Now, with that being said, I'm not quite sure what I was expecting to find, but I wasn't expecting what I found. The first thing you'll notice when you download and sort the expenditures of any politician running for re-election in a safe seat is how they use their campaign funds to increase and supplement their lifestyles in a way that none of us ever could. What do I mean, says Mel? Well, in 2023 alone, James spent over $28,000 on hotels. Over $15,000 of that was spent on luxury hotels in Puerto Rico, which is curious. She's the New York Attorney General. Why is she using campaign money in Puerto Rico? Is she campaigning down there? Don't know. Maybe she was meeting up with Fannie and Wade. I don't know. But they were at luxury hotels. And so here she's done an analysis on this. 28 grand on all these different hotels. Massachusetts, New York, Puerto Rico, multiple times. Coronado Palm Inn in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Hotel Caribe, San Juan, Puerto Rico. We got Edgar Hotel, Massachusetts. Another one, New York. The Royal Sonesta, Puerto Rico. What's she doing in Puerto Rico? $28,000. Now, then there's the airfare, right? In the last 5 years alone, she's been the New York AG. She spent over 84 grand on airfare to fly herself all over the country. This includes private jet rentals. Here you go. Hotels, 117 grand. Airfare, 84 grand. Car rentals, 15 grand. Meals and catering. We knew that was going to be a big one. I mean, you know, we were like, whoa. 100 grand. Obviously, knew that was coming. Reimbursements, 65 grand for a total of 384 grand in expenditures over those 5 years. That's a lot of campaign cash, man. And remember, she's all up in Trump's Excel spreadsheets like, this is wrong and you can't do this. Even though no one was complaining about it, there was business that was done by the banks. The banks were perfectly happy with it. They called him a whale employer. No one was harmed. No one lost any money. It was all pure negotiation. And Trump got a financial audit and a rectal exam, okay? And now questions about Tish. Is her house in order before she starts casting stones? Here, Mel says she billed her campaign over 20 grand a year for meals. We knew that was coming, like clearly. That seems a little bit low, actually. And no, these aren't large catering events. 20 grand campaign meals. These are receipts from everything, okay? Here are the receipts. $18 at Dunkin' Donuts. I'm sure, you know, I don't know what a dozen costs, but that sounds about right. Probably breakfast. $60 at Dave and Buster's while she's playing video games on her lunch. $165 at an oyster bar. That's nice. And $700 at a steakhouse in Brooklyn. I wonder what that was for. Golly. She got the lobster, didn't she? Then there's thousands that are spent on Uber and Lyfts all over the place. Tens of thousands also, right? Tens of thousands of dollars are spent on office at everywhere from Target to BJ's to wholesale, BJ's wholesale, whatever that means. So over $7,000 was dropped at a nightclub in New York City, and that was billed as office, okay? So she looked through this. City Nights Hospitality, a 10 Columbus Drive, New York. I don't even know what that is. It sounds like it's a nightclub. She looked it up. 7 grand. How does that get codified and established as a billing record? Office. That sounds like fraud. Office supplies? Like Cloudflare, okay, that is an office supply. Or, you know, you could say that's necessary for your office. That's a DNS server, right? It helps you connect your DNS and your websites and all that stuff. Yeah, office costs. So yeah, you have a monthly $20 Cloudflare fee. $826, $20. $926, $20. That's all categorized appropriately. A Conando Vanderbilt hotel though for $700. Is that an office supply? Costco, okay, $184 office. Sure, copy paper, hand sanitizer, whatever you need, you know. So that's fine. Crown Plaza Desmond, $5,000 for office. So it sounds like maybe that is not above board kind of characterization. Sounds like a hospitality bill is probably not an office supply. So anyways, now I could go on, says Mel, and make sure you're following Village Crazy Lady, no A in the Village, says the multiple stays at Beverly Hills, Wilshire, the $65,000 that Letitia, she got in reimbursements, okay, for campaign consultants, which could literally be anything. No one has any idea what those mean. 65 grand just going out the door for campaign consultants. She says, you know, speaking of these campaign consultants, can anyone tell me why a state attorney general would need to spend over 300 grand in 1 year on campaign consultants when they just won re-election on a previous November? What on earth could she possibly be consulting on? And furthermore, why do these $1 million, quote, campaign consultancy firms, why do they always seem to be ran out of the same random 2-bedroom apartments? What's going on here? Here is what you'll see in this image, and she has done some incredible analysis on this. Take a look. Here is the spreadsheet. Authorized Single Candidate Committee, Culver Place Strategies, all at 160 Columbia Heights Apartment 2C. That's weird. Is it like a nephew or somebody who's like doing social media posts? Weird. $500. Oh, fundraising. Other must provide an explanation. I wonder what that was for. Same place. But look at this. $1,800 fundraising, $5,000 fundraising, $10,000 now going up for fundraising. So I'd love to be able to sort by this date to see if those prices went up. But look at that. 20 grand for fundraising to some dude in apartment 2C. Fundraising, 26 grand, 20 grand. A lot of expenditures. And that all comes from James for New York to some dude in apartment 2C, whatever he's doing. So very curious, right? Now says to be certain, okay, I'm not accusing Miss James of breaking the law with her expenditures, but considering the high bar that she set for Trump in his civil fraud case, I can find it more than a little galling that she plays so fast and loose with what she deems to be legitimate campaign expenses. Here's what she's got. $4,335 at Nathan's Lux Lifestyle. What's that? Nathan's Lux Lifestyle. That's on Martha's Vineyard last August. Martha's Vineyard. Nathan's Lux Lifestyle. The heck's that going on? $5,000 were dropped at the 48 Lounge in New York City last September under the expense code called office supplies. Okay. Office expense, 48 Lounge. 5 grand at a nightclub. 4 grand at Nathan's Lux Lifestyle. All campaign money, prosecuting Trump money. Here are the documents. Nathan's Lux Lifestyle, 71 Alpine Ave, Vineyard Haven in Massachusetts. For lodging, right? For lodging on that one. This one's $5,000 for office. It's not office expenses. What, she's taking the whole office out? 5 grand for like a party or something? Maybe that's a theory. Maybe it's a party. Fanny had like first 100 days, whatever. Maybe these are, you know, nightclub Tish parties. Who knows what's going on over there? So you might be wondering, right? Where's all that money come from? Are people donating to these people so they can just have grift accounts and they can just go on Puerto Rico trips multiple times? Mel says, well, here's where things get interesting, because it appears that our holier than thou Attorney General, Tish James, she has gotten herself wrapped up, in a ghost donor scam. Now, I knew the ghost donor bots weren't just operating at the federal level, says Mel, but I had no clue how big it was at the state level. And here's a list of Miss James's total donations and their corresponding receipts by year. Question for you, my friends. Does anything jump out at you? Let's take a look. Letitia James contributions 2018, 3.9 million. Number of receipts, 2,900. In-state donors are 2,500. Out-of-state donors are 413. Wow. Watch this. You can see the trend right now. Let me move my big fat head out of the way so you can see what happens. 2019, $730,000, 1,200 receipts, 1,000 in-state, 123 out-of-state. You know where this is going. Look at the 2022 year. 2020, 400,000 brought in. Almost all in-state donos, only 253 out of 1,800 that are out-of-state. Then in 2022, 3.2 million comes in, 32,000 total number of receipts. In-state donors are 12,000, but the out-of-state donors, look at that number, is 20,000. Okay. Then you got in 2023, the numbers drop way off again. Not an election year. She's back down to 1.6 million, 2,800 total receipts. And now it's about split in-state versus out-of-state donors. Actually, out-of-state donors still overtake in-state donors. So something happened, right? We go from a bunch of in-state donors to a bunch of out-of-state donors basically overnight. So let's see where this goes. And she's collecting millions of dollars. Now, obviously 2022 is off the charts. Okay. Over 32,000 receipts and over 62% of those are from out of state. Who the heck heck donates to an AG running in a totally safe seat in a whole other state? Answer, ghost donors do. Take, for instance, this woman. Her name is Suzanne, right? Suzanne is from Sioux Falls in South Dakota. Now, Miss Suzanne, she must have to be one of the most faithful Democrat donors on the planet. Suzanne, you know. Not only did she make 3,232 individual donations to Act Blue in just 1 year, but Suzanne, in addition to 3,200 individual donations, so that's like multiple donations a day, in 1 year, that totaled more than $46,000. It's like a dono bot. Weird, right? So Suzanne from Sioux Falls, not employed, doesn't even have a job. Here's the sum of this stuff. Man, this is some good details. Shout out to Mel. So Act Blue, donos come in every day, every year, 2022, multiple times, small contributions that nobody even bats an eye at. $6, $7, $2, $15, $10, $2, $2, $12, $5, 10, 15, 2, 5, 1, 1, 2, 7, all day. Dono bots, all day, just chunking money in there. Now, it looks like small amounts. It's $46,000. $46,000. And it's how many times in 1 year? 32,000. Divide that by 365, and there you go. So the dono bots are out in force. But she also, this woman, Suzanne, she also found the time and the money to also make 25 separate donations for $266 to Tishy's campaign and another $305 to Kathy Hochul. And she didn't stop there. I found Suzanne's name on the donor rolls in Nevada, Idaho, and Virginia. That's weird. How is she a voter in all these different states? Or how about this lovely old lady, Barbara from Silver Springs? Oh yeah, Barbara and Suzanne, okay? They're misappropriating some nice names out there. They say Barbara from Silver Springs, fake entity, Maryland. Miss Barbara apparently is a retired 71-year-old widow living in a modest townhouse. Not only living in a modest townhouse there in Maryland, she made 1,547 donos to Act Blue. That was at the federal level, and she's donating $37,000. Weird. Again, weird. $25, $20, 25, 10, 3, 38, 25, 25, 10, 3, 10, 5, 6, 10. Multiple donos a day, 3 plus a day. She's retired. Her name's Barbara, and she just hates Trump, you know? And so she's just every day, just $5, I'll donate. $5, I'll donate. $15, I'll donate. $50, right? That's ridiculous. So it's clearly something that's automated. Now, she also gave Letitia James $610 total in 34 separate transactions, and then she dumped some money into Nevada, Massachusetts, and Wisconsin. So Barbara is just going hog wild all over the place. Here, now this one is going to James for New York. Lots of money. $610. Multiple dates. 5, 10, 25, 10, 20, 10, 10, 10, 10. Okay, multiple dates all through 2022. Just pumping money into Tish. Now, I could go on, but y'all get the point, okay? Almost every name I grabbed from James's 2022 donor list had at least 200 plus donations at the federal level for 2022, and tons of them had over 2,000 donations. 2,000 donations. Bop, 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 just funneling money in under Barbara and Suzanne's name. All right. Now, it turns out ghost donors are just as big of a problem at the state level as they are at the federal level. And so to recap, says we've got known entities funding our state and federal elections, and everywhere you turn, there's a sleazy, disgusting politician using this tainted campaign money to fund their extravagant lifestyles. And it's absolutely true. And so Mel says, if you enjoyed this thread, and we very much did, feel free to buy Mel a cup of coffee and share this story to help support independent journalism like this one from Mel. And so I retweeted the very top layer of this thread earlier today. And so make sure, my friends, you're following at Village without the A, Crazy Lady on X, because this thread was just a burner. And obviously, right, Tish, she is clearly hypocritical, right? She's prosecuting Trump for made up financial fraud when she's in the middle of it, smack dab in the middle of it, getting botted with thousands of dollars of donos from Lord knows who. Is anybody going to investigate Tish? Is anything going to happen to her? Or is she just going to be able to run free, run hog wild in this dictatorial state of New York? So we got questions about what's happening with the Engoron ruling. Judge Napolitano was out here and he had a little bit of a take on this. And so we'll listen to what he said about what is coming next there in New York with the judge. Here is what he says.
Let's talk about the appeal. Engoron committed errors of law and or fact. That's one thing, but a lot of people are talking about the 8th Amendment violation against excessive fines. What do you think?
Well, the 8th Amendment, unfortunately for the former president, has only been interpreted and used in the criminal context. Even though it says fines, it really really means punishment and fines for crimes. But this is such a weird, odd case because the penalty is extraordinary. The loss of $400 million going up $100,000 a day for a crime not committed and harm not caused. He didn't harm anyone. The people that he borrowed money from, Deutsche Bank, their executives got on the witness stand, judge in the eye, and said he paid back everything to the penny and on time. And then this executive from the bank looked at the former president and said, by the way, Mr. President, if you want to get back in this business after you leave the White House, we'll be happy to be your lender again.
Probably not in the state of New York, though. I wish.
So, yeah, it is a total scam over there. And we have Elise Stefanik, who is calling it out. She was speaking at CPAC, and she had a take on it. Let's see what she said.
That historic hearing showed that one voice, supported by the American people, can set off an earthquake and a reckoning and help save our country. We cannot give up. The life of our country is at stake. And as we all know, the closer President Trump gets to victory, the dirtier the Democrats, their stenographers in the media, and the corrupt prosecutors will get.
Like Tish
They
and
will
Fanny.
stop at nothing, and I mean nothing, in their attempt to steal this next election. We saw Democrats baselessly impeach President Trump twice. They indicted him 4 times for non-crimes and are trying to bankrupt him and destroy his successful business. In my home state of New York, far-left Democrat New York Attorney General Tish James, who campaigned on going after President Trump, she teamed up with an unethical Democrat Manhattan judge to unconstitutionally impose a nearly $500 million penalty on Trump for the victimless non-crime of paying back banks in full, on time, as agreed, with interest. It's corrupt.
And she's herself corrupt with her own ghost donors funneling a bunch of money into her campaign, and she's spending it on nightclubs and other things that are not appropriate. The question is, will anybody investigate her? We know she's not going to investigate herself, but some people are doing investigations, and so we're going to throw it over to James O'Keefe. Apparently, my friends, James O'Keefe went and had a workout with Judge Engoron Areola the Nip, and you can see here, he says that together they pushed it to the limit and they got their exercise done. And so James O'Keefe is saying that he is releasing a video that shows him and Engoron getting their swole on. And so make sure you go follow him. They are dropping that any minute. And so it's going to be good, I'm sure. And so we'll talk about it very soon. James O'Keefe walked up to the Nip and says, "Excuse me, I'm a huge fan, Judge." So it's going to be great. Make sure you're following James O'Keefe to go get that story. It's going to be just a lot of fun. So my friends, Tishy has ghost donors. She's got a lot of problems in her financial background. Will anybody investigate it? The great village crazy lady, Mel, certainly did. And so we're going to continue to cover this. A lot is happening in New York. Trump's trial for the criminal case, the Michael Cohen case, is coming up very soon. And so we're going to be here covering this one and more. We hope you join us as we do. Thank you so much for subscribing. We're covering all of the Trump litigation, the ballot removal stuff, the Supreme Court stuff, all the criminal cases, all the civil cases, and more. And so we'd love to see you join us. We have a lot of great links in the description below, including robertgovea.com, where you can sign up for our daily newsletter, get all these segments delivered to your inbox. We have our PDFs there as well. We have member-only live streams at watchingthewatchers.locals.com. We do streams in the morning before we come live here. We have Saturday streams, and we also have watcherlodge.com, which is our new sovereignty and self-development community. We've got great events coming up for free, so check out all those descriptions, all the links down in the description below, and we'll look forward to seeing you back here, my friends, on the next one.